first of all, happy National Tea Day. I didn't know that was a thing until Jenny tagged me this morning. So obviously I was born ready for this day, and I have indeed been drinking tea for most of the day. Apart from when I trained, then I drank water. So I'm celebrating it with my favourite mug. Jenny bought me this when she went on a family holiday to Yorkshire, and there's Yorkshire tea in it as well as on it. So I hope you all had a good hot beverage of your choice. Yet again, I've left filming this vlog until the very end of the day. It's about 8:15, and I think our oven might have finally given up the ghost, so that the chicken I should have had finished in 40 minutes is still basically warming up. So if we all die of raging salmonella and there isn't a vlog in 24 hours time, remember me kindly. This is the first go at showing you my knitting crafting library selection. I'm sat in my front room, and we've got one of these big IKEA Kallax units that the television and the Xbox sits on. And the vast majority of my knitting books are here and just in another cubby on the end. When I say knitting, I've got a mixture of knitting, spinning and sewing related things. And I thought I was looking at them wondering how I could put them into appropriate categories to talk to you about, because I've got quite a lot of them, and I thought I want to keep these fairly short. So just for ease, I've started by pulling out all of my books that are just straight knitting pattern books, kind of. It was interesting. It made me realise that I don't buy knitting pattern books very often at all. Why is that? I think ultimately because I prefer to knit from, I like knitting from a printed pattern, but I don't like knitting out of a book. I tend to photocopy the pattern if that's the case anyway, so in the end I just buy the Ravelry downloads. And I have a rule that I have to want to knit at least 3 things in a pattern book before I'll buy it. And that isn't often the case. First up, I have 2 random copies of Pom Pom magazine. This one is Spring 2015, and this one is their 5th anniversary edition, which is sort of a larger than usual one. It had lots of patterns in it, and this is the Summer 2017. I didn't buy these. I think it's a brilliant magazine, but again, it never quite hits my 3 patterns an episode publication rule. And I picked these up from the Bring and Take table at one of the last Knit Tea retreats. For this one, that cardigan pattern on the front is the Tambourine cardigan. I can't remember who it's by. Let's have a look. Tambourine, page 22. Hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, sing a song for me. Tambourine by Julia Farwell Clay. Yes. So I quite fancied this. It's got noops that form little circles on the front of the cardigan, and I've got some yarn in stash that I've earmarked for this. So I picked up that one. I can't remember what it was I wanted to knit out of the other one. Oh, yes. It was the Soiree sweater. Really nice boxy jumper. I don't know if I wanted to knit anything else, but as I said, I picked it up from the Bring and Take table, so they were free. I have 3 of the pattern books produced by Kate Davis Designs. The first one that I ever bought was Colours of Shetland. And although these are pattern books, they're not just pattern books. She always has a little bit, like a short essay to go with all of her patterns that I find really fascinating. And because of the information in them, I let myself off the 2 pattern rule. Yeah, this one I've had the longest. and the one I was particularly keen on making, I haven't even bought the yarn for it yet. I haven't there we go, the Scat Nest Tunic. I absolutely love that pattern, and it would be really nice to make it with Dorset buttons. I quite like a short sleeved cardigan / jumper for in-betweeny times, so that's on my hit list. I've also got her yokes book. I want to make the one on the front, but again, haven't got round to it. But I did make one out of this one. I made Epistrophe, which you've seen me wear on the podcast before. That's the Epistrophe cardigan. So it's got colour work around the top, and there's lots of other things in there I want to make, but just haven't got round to it. And I bought her Inspired by Eyelet pattern book as well. I don't think I've made anything out of this yet. But again, just beautiful. Her partner Tom is a wonderful photographer, so it's just a beautiful book, even if you never knit anything out of it. And I've read them several times. So yeah, Kate Davis. I've also got Knitting Without Tears by Elizabeth Zimmerman. I was unsure whether to put this in knitting patterns or more technique-y type things, but in the end I went for patterns. What I love about Elizabeth Zimmerman is what everybody loves about Elizabeth Zimmerman, which is how much she gives her readers and the knitters their own, enough information and enough confidence to make your own decisions. And it's just a lovely chatty style. And I also like that this one has really big spaces at the sides, so you can write notes in it if you want to. I did have her Knitter's Almanac, but I passed that on to somebody, I can't remember who. I have got Socks from the Toe Up by Wendy D. Johnson. So this is sort of the classic toe up sock knitters book. And I bought this, I think I mentioned it on one of the other vlogs. I used to have a local yarn shop that was literally opposite me at work. And I bought this from Anna at Big Knitters. It does have lots of lovely patterns in, and I have knit some of them. I don't know that I want to knit any more of them. I've sort of finished with the patterns, as it were. But what I do like about this book is the front section is very instructional. So it gives you a lot of chat, needle choices, yarn selection, lots of instructional about cast on methods, and a variety of basic, so short row toe and heel basic socks. I think she does gusset heel basic socks, slip stitch heel flat basic socks. So she gives you all the information you need, which is a starter knitter, really gets you going. And her toe up short row heel, I think, were the first ones I ever knitted. And I just kept it as a reference. Should I ever want to design toe up socks, which I don't think I will because I don't like knitting toe up socks, that will be handy. And I've got two, I'm sure you're all aware of Anne Budd. I've got her handy book of sweater patterns and her handy book of top down sweater patterns. I'm sure you're familiar with these. These are sort of similar to the Elizabeth Zimmerman in that it's all about giving you the information that you need to knit your own things. But what she does differently in here is she provides you charts for stitch counts for a whole range of chest sizes from child to adult, with different tensions down the side. So you can knit your yarn up into a fabric that you like, work out your tension, look it up in the charts, and then you can follow through the patterns and all the numbers are there laid out for you. This one, yeah, she does drop shoulder, modified drop shoulder, set in sleeve, saddle shoulder, raglan and seamless yoke in that one. So yeah, basic designs in multiple size and gauges, but they're all bottom up. And then this one is the same, but for top down. She does include one pattern for each of the different sorts of sweaters. So you that puts different stitch patterns and things in. But again, these are, you can just follow the instructions and knit a jumper. And if you're thinking about dabbling your toe into sweater design, which I might be, no pressure, these are really good places to start. They're not hugely size inclusive. What does the adult chest pattern go up to in this? Up to 54 inch. So yeah, 36 inch to 54 inch finished circumference. So it's not too bad, but there's definitely more of a push in the industry for at least 60 inch finished circumference, which I think is a really good thing. Size inclusivity is important, but it gives you enough information in here that if you were using it for design purposes, it would be easy enough to expand. I'm going to use this for knitting my nephew a cardigan. If you remember, on one of my previous episodes, I was sent some sport weight yarn from the Knitcrate subscription affiliation scheme I'm a member of, and I had a quick look on Ravelry for sort of cardigan patterns, but I couldn't really find anything I wanted exactly. So I thought, well, I'll just pull out my Anne Budd books and knit one up from there. She does also have another handy book of knitting patterns that I think's got socks and gloves and hats in it as well. So I think if you ended up buying all of the Anne Budd books, you'd have a pretty comprehensive library. Okay, that's the pattern books bit done. Tomorrow I think I will probably cover books that are more directly related to designing, like stitch dictionaries and things like that. So yeah, what have you got on your shelves? Is there anything seminal that I'm missing for pattern books? You'll have to wait and see what I've got for the other categories. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Check the drop down box below for links to all of my places and newsletters and coffee accounts. And oh yes, also shameless self-promotion, we will be doing a Cartref Yarn update either Friday night or Saturday morning. I need to double check with Jenny. So if you're not signed up to the newsletter for Cartref Yarn, click the link down below and then you'll be sure to get all of the information, and keep your eye on social media. Okay, I'm going to go and see if my chicken dinner is cooked or not, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.